Hi there, you guys. Today we're going to be talking about how to effectively price your Airbnb right after this. Welcome back to Real Estate Divas, and today we're going to be talking about how to effectively price your Airbnb. I'm Jer'Leigh Thompson with Texel Real Estate and Real Estate Reformation.
And I'm Kristin Gerst with Capricorn Mortgage Investments and Elite Property Management is what I'm calling my short-term rental
property management
company. It's kind of going official now.
Awesome. And for those of you who don't know, it kind of started with you having your own Airbnbs and then us talking about the Airbnbs and then you're taking on clients.
Yeah, and we did some shows about rescuing Airbnbs from, people who didn't know what they were doing because if you don't know what you're doing, your Airbnb is not going to get rented and it's not going to make money.
Well, because a lot like real estate and flipping, everybody's like, oh, I could do that. That's easy. And then so Airbnbs became the next hot topic and all of a sudden, oh, I can do that. But they didn't realize
there's a lot that goes into it.
Quite a bit that goes into it.
And a lot of it you have to learn on the go. Mm-hmm. And every single Airbnb that I either own or manage is completely different.
Yep. Well, and that's kind of what we're talking about today because the pricing of Airbnbs is completely different, depending on the property. So what would you say, what are the categories that you look at as far as like the pricing of the Airbnbs?
There's really three major categories. People have the budget Airbnb, and I've got three examples, and then the standard Airbnb and luxury. We start with the budget. Right? This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And by the way, all three of these are from the same area.
Okay.
You're going to notice there's no professional photos in this. There's clutter. Like if I look around, we've got...
Someone most likely lives there.
Yeah.
They live there and rent it out on the weekends. You see this a lot in really heavily populated cities as well, like New York. I've stayed at one of those before.
And they'll go stay at like their girlfriend's house or something. And they'll rent anytime it's rented. And they try to rent it out 9 or 10 nights a month so that they can maybe cover. But when you're talking about these budget ones, there's really no design. I mean, this looks like a college dorm room.
Wait, I just realized that this show is on Airbnbs. I haven't really been paying attention during the pre-show stuff. And I'm looking at this slide and going, oh, that's an Airbnb. Now it's clicking that it's a budget.
But
Airbnb.
it's a budget win. It's lacking. There's no design. It's not remodeled. If you look at the bathroom, I mean that's circa 1970s.
Yeah. Early 80s, maybe.
Early 80s. I mean, look at the couch and whatnot. You got one picture on the wall. Nothing in the bedroom.
Yeah.
It looks like a prison cell.
Yeah.
With a double bed.
But this is for people that are just trying to get into town cheap, on a budget. It's in the name.
So the couple who just bought a house across the street from me, it's a regular 3-2 ranch, nothing fancy. They put a streamline camper, the silver bullet ones.
Oh, yeah.
Put it on their back driveway, and they're renting it out for $40 or $50 a night.
Yeah.
That thing is booked almost every night of the week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when Airbnb, that was the running joke when Airbnb and all of that first started is, hey, you can rent a tent.
You can.
Yeah.
Actually, they do have tent.
I know.
They have tent Airbnb communities. Yeah. So, all right. So that's a budget.
Yeah.
That's basic.
That's
Next
an
one.
example.
All right. I would say standard, right? You've got some updating here. Things look nice. They put a piece of art on the wall. You still got some clutter. They're still not taking professional photos. This is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and it averages $59 compared to the 2-bedroom, 2-bath that was at $52 a night. So obviously you get half the space for more money. It's just going to be nicer. Look at their bathroom. Their bathroom doesn't, it's obviously
been upgraded.
Yeah,
it looks
it's a nice vanity and nice.
But you can tell by just looking on the fridge and looking at some of the art stuff.
Somebody probably lives there too.
Somebody probably lives there and rents it out on the weekend, which again, that's the thing that's nice about Airbnb is it can fit so many different models.
Kristin, you sound a little judgmental.
on this.
Somebody lives there.
Somebody does live there. Obviously, I don't live at any of my Airbnbs. I
Yeah.
would never want to rent out a room in my house.
Oh,
and
is it obvious? Is it?
That does happen. I'm not judging. There are people who do that. They just
Yeah.
have a room for rent. We're talking, entire Airbnbs here. I mean, this person, is an artist, and they've got all their art stuff in the corner. I would think twice. I mean, would you let kids come in?
Well, it's a one bedroom, so the likelihood that
Probably
you're
is
traveling alone is pretty high, or just with, whoever you're.
Right. Still, do you want people jacking with that stuff? I don't know. But obviously, this is, it's common.
It is common. And I'll say, just from my experience, like I know whenever we were in New Zealand, we stayed on a farm. They live on that farm, but the nice thing about that is that they used to be tour guides. They gave us so much insight to the area. I mean, there are perks to doing that sort of thing.
And that, of course, I think is also cultural or, specific geographically. I did that in Ireland.
Yep.
And that, I stayed with Mary Groggins in Youghal, Ireland, which is like way down on the south coast, tiny little seaside town. And, she was lovely.
Yeah.
She wanted to talk your ear off about all like the local lore, and she made you breakfast.
But I would argue that that's kind of a perk of that particular Airbnb, because if you're going
Yes.
to that, you're going for Martha's Vineyard, whatever her name was.
Right.
If you're going to downtown Dallas or Denver,
You're probably not looking for that.
yeah, you just want a place to sleep and
Right.
shower and poop.
Yeah.
Not
Nice
Well,
for that
right.
third one.
Yeah.
Nobody poops in my Airbnbs.
All right. So we're talking about the budget,
and then
standard,
and
then
then
you have
luxury, which this is a stretch. We're going to put luxury just because I kept them all at about 1 bedroom, 1 bath for this. And this one averages $92 a night.
Yep. So almost double.
Yeah, almost double when you consider $52 for the 2 bedroom, 2 bath to $92. And that 2 bedroom, 2 bath and this one are in the same neighborhood.
Yep.
And both had about the same occupancy level. So it just depended on, does somebody want something nicer? This one's obviously been updated completely.
Nobody's living there from the looks of it.
Right.
It's definitely set up so that, whoever comes and stays, that those are the only people, the
Right.
paying client is the only person
Right.
staying there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then the next group of slides also, here's economy versus luxury yard. Obviously, we can see the difference.
Absolutely.
The difference in price for these, this one they're both 5-bedroom homes. This one on the left is maximum around $200 a night. The one on the right is maximum $1,200 a night.
And that might be our left, your right. I don't know how it's showing up on the screen.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But I think we know which one is $200 a night and which one is $1,200.
I don't know if it's flip-flopping mirror image.
Let's look at, how do you read economy versus luxury?
That's a really good
Left and right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Fine. I had a blonde moment. That's fine.
This pairs nicely with the conversation we were having
No,
right before the show.
it does not.
Hey, everybody, this might be whiskey.
That too.
Anyway.
Anyways, next one. Economy versus luxury kitchen.
Yep.
And I think we can all see the luxury has Wolf and has a Sub-Zero fridge.
Well, I mean,
Wine
it
fridge.
definitely looks way more design, elements there. You're doing it to entertain. This looks like a standard, apartment.
This is in a
someplace.
5-bedroom house on the left.
Oh, get out! Really? Wow.
It's the same.
Wow.
I tried to pick apples to apples when I was comparing this. 5-bedroom house.
Wow.
That's awful. I don't know how you could even cook that's going to be a minimum of 10, 12 people if maybe you have a pullout in what I'm assuming is a very tiny living room.
Yep.
All right, and the next slide. And there it is.
So obviously, the 5-bedroom on the economy, we're talking about a much smaller home.
Yes. They didn't exactly say what the square footage was
Yep.
of these homes. The luxury ones are even a good luxury one, if you're looking for a good Airbnb to buy, would be something, you don't want something gargantuan because that's harder to clean.
Yep.
But at least if you're talking 5 bedrooms, like somewhere around 4,000 square feet.
Yep.
And then that one over there, I suspect that they had like kind of a shanty out back, or maybe they converted
A shanty. Do you hear this, Nom? A shanty. I think this Airbnb has a shanty.
Whatever. It's a shanty, or they've split a garage in two.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. The shanty.
I'm not going to be booking the one on the left, okay?
Yes,
I don't
yes.
care at what price.
If it doesn't have a bidet, I'm not going.
Of course, I'm now going to get hate mail because whoever's Airbnb
Oh yeah,
this is,
yeah.
they're going to be like,
they're ticked. Yeah.
Again, strange enough, these Airbnbs are booked about
The same amount of time.
the same amount of time.
Yeah.
The luxury ones are booked. They were fuller.
Mm-hmm.
So then the other ones. So, all right, going back to just us.
You don't have to.
Okay, I don't have to prompt you.
You don't need directions.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, so obviously you can see the economy versus the luxury. Those
Right.
are very evident.
Well, it's also how much do you, and I'm not saying that you should ever buy high-end furniture or furnishings for Airbnb properties. If that is your intent to do it, find stuff on clearance, find stuff on sale,
Absolutely.
Facebook Marketplace to get the actual furniture pieces. But you can do a lot more with a property than what's been done on the economy level. But if you're not making any investment really into it at all, and it looks like a garage sale in there, okay, well, you're going to get the same return on your investment. That being said, you can rent a luxury property for $1,200 a night. I looked ahead on my calendar, like on my pricing, because I have a dynamic pricing tool that I use. And starting in April and May, I've got weeks that are going at $1,600 a night.
Nice.
Just due to demand.
Absolutely.
So, but that's with those, big properties, and I have to maintain furniture and make sure everything looks pristine.
Well, and like you said, you don't want something huge because then it's a lot to clean, it's a lot to keep up with. But at the same time, if you're trying to accommodate that clientele, or whether it's a family reunion, that I felt like you and I discussed this on one of our previous shows, that some of those high-end properties that have those entertainment type of features in their home, have the game room, have the movie room, have the fireplace and the outdoor fireplace and the swimming pool, all of these things. It allowed during COVID for a lot of these people to do, now we can do family reunions right here and we can all be together, but contained.
And we
right?
don't have to wear a mask like in a hotel lobby.
Exactly.
But, and quarantine did bring that out. It was the people who didn't have those amenities that were just not booked.
Yeah.
Because I got booked by people, local people who were living in high rises.
That just wanted
wanted a pool.
Yeah, something more.
They wanted a pool. They wanted outside. One of my huge 5-bedroom, 4-bath homes with a pool and a hot tub and a pool table, all of that, got rented by one attorney for 3 months.
Nice.
And that was because his pool was closed and he wanted
access.
He wanted access, and
Yeah.
he wanted to be able to entertain, and
Yep.
you couldn't do that anywhere else.
So whenever you're looking at these different, you're trying to figure out, all right, I'm going to invest in an Airbnb. Then obviously we're talking location is important.
Location is everything, and that is like the number one rule in real estate: location, location, location. You have to remember that a lot of people who are booking Airbnbs are coming in from out of town. They're not renting a car. So picking a location that's walking distance to restaurants, to entertainment venues. How far away do you really want to come to Dallas, which is super easy, and you're going to go, say, just to see a concert at the AAC in Dallas. Do you want to be staying 45 minutes from the AAC? Probably not.
Yep.
You want to be somewhere maybe 10, 15 minutes max, and so that's going to be your search radius.
And for some of those, like let's say I come across a property and I'm trying to decide, you know what, I think I'd like to turn this into short-term rental. Besides checking, what the rules and regulations are for that specific county, that specific city, because sometimes the rules are different, even city to city, same county. But you've checked those, it qualifies. What are some of the indicators? If it's not walking distance, let's say you're out in the suburbs, you're going to be in a neighborhood. So what would be some of the other qualifiers besides walking distance?
Well, it doesn't have to be walking distance to restaurants, obviously, but having places to go. So, yeah, if you're going to be up in the suburbs, Plano or Frisco, so that you're near shops of legacy, because there's always things going on.
Absolutely.
Up there. Yep. Do you want to be out way far out in the suburbs? Probably not. And really, the farther out of the center of Dallas that you get, one of those pricing issues are the cost of hotel rooms. Mm-hmm. And so the further out of the city center you get, the less expensive those hotels are to stay there. And so that's one of the first things, I do when I'm looking to see, all right, how much can I price this? Let's see what one room is renting for at the local hotel. Mm-hmm. And granted, people rent for a lot of different reasons. A lot of times, okay, it's a family that's coming together, and so they need multiple bedrooms, and they want to be all kind of staying together. But if it's just a couple traveling on their own, maybe they have some children, maybe they have a pet. There's a lot of different reasons why people do it, but they're not going to go and spend a ton more than a hotel unless they get something.
If it doesn't make sense. Absolutely. Well, and I know a lot of business models out there tend to be not just about entertainment, but sometimes it's about a university being close by, because there's always parents and families coming into town and trying to visit, or alumni, or and they want everybody to stay at one place. And then also hospitals.
Yes.
Hospitals seem to be a pretty frequent as well.
In addition to that, the problem with, just focusing on a college, it's going to be absolutely packed for Parents' Weekend. Mm-hmm. But what's your demand going to be in the summer?
Exactly.
So, and again, seasonal pricing plays a lot into that. I know that here in Dallas, January and February are our worst months. Last February, we had snowpocalypse.
Yeah. Nobody was coming here then.
No, and in fact, everybody canceled.
Yep.
So they canceled, nobody came, there was nothing going on. It melted and we kind of went back to normal, but by that point, most people had canceled for upcoming stays, so it was a really bad month.
Well, and for some, that a whole nother subject line there, but just the damage that was done from that storm as well.
But knowing in Dallas that typically November, December, January, and February are slower months, once we hit March running, and March through October are phenomenal.
Nice. Well, and so when you're analyzing these properties, you mentioned a tool earlier. For everybody that's not familiar with what that tool is, to analyze these properties and be able to see kind of behind the scenes somebody else's Airbnb's occupancy. And
so you can go to the Airbnb calendar. That's your first step. Mm-hmm. So you figure out where your property is, and then you zoom in and you only focus on, let's say that your Airbnb property is a 3-bedroom. So you're only going to go look at 3-bedroom properties and see what their average price per night is. And that's what that price is.
So, and really and truly, this boils down to the same thing that we do when we're pulling comps.
Yes.
It's rental comps, basically, and Airbnb has that tool or has that feature in there that you can.
Right. So you can see basically, however, there's a caveat to this. That's an
Always.
average. Yes. That is an average of the available nights, that are in the booking window. So if the host has their booking window set to a year, you've got an average of every available night for a year. Mm-hmm. If it's for 6 months, you only have the available nights for the following 6 months. Some only have a hosting window open for 3 months. So that number then, can be
gets
skewed.
Yes.
So what I recommend is going in and going month by month and just picking a week. So going Monday through Thursday and then going Friday and Saturday and doing the Friday and Saturday night stays and then the Monday and Thursday stays to see what your average price is per night.
Gotcha.
And you can do that by just going, okay, I'm going to book this property this night. And you can play with it and see what they'll give you.
Interesting. Well, but you mentioned a different tool that you use as well.
So I have a dynamic pricing tool, and there are tons of them out there.
Got it.
I've tried 2. Right now I'm using Price Labs. I've done Wheelhouse. There's literally dozens of these things out there. Are they all equal? What I like about them is I don't put the property in there to use the dynamic pricing until about 90 days in. I keep it off of there to start because I'm extremely hands-on in the very beginning. So I'll start them low to get them filled up. You need 3 reviews in order to get your stars to show up. And then once you're showing, a 5-star property, then you can start incrementally increasing your rates. The dynamic pricing tools will go into your Airbnb and VRBO history, look at all of that data, and then decide with that data compared with everybody else,
what that price should be
should be adjusting.
Gotcha.
And I find that even, whenever you start this, I go in once a week and I make sure that all of my dynamic prices are spot on.
Yep.
So that my median price is right on where they say it should be. And I change it. I just adjust it as according, because October is completely different than December. November is completely different than January. And then we're going to get into June, July, and August, and those are by far the best months.
Absolutely.
So
are there any other tools that you use to kind of figure out, one, if this is the property I should go for, based on the Airbnb data, or and then also with your pricing, anything else that?
I look at hotels.com.
Yeah.
Just so I can have the heat map to see what
where is everything?
What is everything being priced at? And I will randomly just go, all right, what's a weekday night? It's really easy to start with just a weekday to know what your base pricing is.
Gotcha.
And then you can ramp up to that type. But you have to take into account the season. And obviously in Dallas, January and February are worst months. If I was renting something out in Denver or a ski town like Breckenridge.
Well then, obviously your winter months are going to be
triple.
Yeah.
Or quadruple. So because they are basically making all of their money
in those winter months. Well, so that brings me to, as far as the rental rate that you go by, when you're thinking of it, most people kind of know this, that you can make more money in short-term rentals versus the long-term rentals. What would you say the average?
About 2 to 3 times per rent.
Yes.
Especially if you're talking about just a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. My 1-bedroom, 1-baths, I could probably get 8, maybe right now 900. I'm bringing in 3,000.
It's awesome. That is awesome.
And that's long-term. Well, quasi-long-term.
Yeah,
I have traveling nurses in my 1-bedroom, 1-baths, and so that'll take it. Except for one, which is super high end, that one brings in $4,500 to $5,000 a month just on 1 and 2 night stays.
Nice.
Which is great.
Perfect.
But the other 1-bedroom, 1-baths, I have them rented out to traveling nurses who stay typically about 90 days.
Wow. So just think about that, whenever you're thinking about your next investment and you want it to be a rental. I mean, short-term rental, if you're buying in the right spot, that's a lot more bang for your buck.
Absolutely. But it's also a lot more work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because you're having to clean up and get ready for your next client. I mean, obviously not you personally, unless this is all you're doing and you're buying them one at a time and building up, then maybe that's the way you go about it.
But as far as pricing, yeah, it's starting with that. It's looking at what a hotel room would cost. And if a 1-bedroom hotel room is $100 a night, all right, then you're going to go in and price your Airbnb at maybe $90.
Just underneath.
Right.
You're going to pull a Price
Per
is Right type of maneuver of, oh, I think you're too high. I'm going to go $10 under.
Yeah. Yeah, without going over.
Without going over, yeah. Well, any other tips as far as pricing your property?
Just one last tip. Almost all of the hosting sites, which there are a lot, and everybody knows the main ones being Airbnb and VRBO. I've also started getting a lot from TripAdvisor, which is kind of exciting. But all of them offer a new listing discount. If you accept that, it puts it up at the top of searches for everybody.
Nice.
So I highly recommend that people do that, even though because it'll do it for the first 3 reservations, even though for those first 3 reservations, you're going to be getting like 40% less than what you should be.
But like you said, you need those recommendations, so you want to get the 5-star, recommendation and get it fast. So that makes sense if it would put you
if you
right
can get
at the
it as
top.
you can get as fast as possible, because as soon as people see a star rating on it, they want to know, is this a 1-star or a 5-star property?
Well, not only that, I'll also look at how many reviews, because it'll, it takes a while to get the badges. It takes a while to get, the notoriety that you're a super host or whatever, the different designations are. But I definitely look at, if it's a 5-star rating and you only have 2 ratings, 2, what's the word I'm looking for? Reviews on there, then are those your friends?
I think there's also an element of psychology, because even though the internet's been around forever, people still want to know, is this a real thing or not?
Yeah.
So if there's no reviews, there's no stars, it's like, am I being scammed?
Yeah,
I've gotten
absolutely.
that question before.
Absolutely. And believe it or not, there's people still new to Airbnb and VRBO, and first timers coming, trying it out for, and they don't have any clue how it works. So it all seems like a scam.
Right.
Yeah.
And how could I be staying here at less than a hotel room?
Mm-hmm. And then have a kitchen. All right. Well, that pretty much takes care of trying to figure out where to price them and how to buy them.
Should we tell a story about that Airbnb that we were at in Utah?
Oh, God.
The Airbnb we were at?
I'm just kidding.
What? I mean, yeah.
There wasn't a story.
There's
I
not a
was just
story.
trying to get you to
I'm like, what story? I don't think any of the stories happened at the Airbnb.
I mean, honestly, I think there's a whole show there to do Airbnb horror stories. I mean, I was with a group of friends, and we rented one, and it was so close to where this concert was, and we're like, yes.
Score.
And we're like, wow, look, it sleeps comfortably like 8 people. It's got 4 we got there. It was a studio apartment.
Oh, everybody's all in one room, one big happy family.
Which was not disclosed.
It's a value add.
It was not disclosed.
Yeah.
It was marketed as a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yep.
But what they did was, in 2 sections, they lofted this. They made like makeshift lofts in this apartment, which were not solid.
So
Yeah.
that would be a luxury?
Yes.
Tying it
that's
back to
exactly-
this episode.
All right.
Yeah.
To be fair, I did not book this.
To be fair.
I did not book this thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, that's a really great deal.
Yeah. Well, so how to effectively price your Airbnbs? It sounds like it comes down to location, checking the hotels, checking on Airbnb. Obviously, you got to do.
And
you got to
apples to
compare.
apples.
Yeah, apples to apples. But if you have any other questions, then feel free to drop us a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and notifications. There's the notifications too. Hit those notifications.
Ooh, do we have notifications? Can
Well,
we
if
get
they
those?
do, they on YouTube, they can get that.
Right.
Speaking of people who've never used the internet.
I'm pretty sure Ryan went
Yeah.
in there and adjusted
Oh,
my
yeah.
settings because I get all these things popping up.
Yeah.
Anytime he's on camera, I'm like, oh, look, Ryan Harper's got a new video out.
Well, I'm Jer'Leigh Thompson with Texel Real Estate and Real Estate Reformation.
And I'm Kristin Gerst with Capricorn Mortgage Investments.
And this has been Real Estate Divas. Thanks for joining us.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.